How's it going? That was good, wasn't it? No idea where I downloaded that from. I just typed in National Anthem on Google and that came up. I didn't think much of the instruments. Like it was a bit like Stephen Hawking made it on his wheelchair. How's everyone doing? I know it's quiet now because obviously that's with that flag. I'm an American itch, if you didn't know. You surely know that by now, don't you? Um, I'm one of those good dual citizen ones where you can change your mind depending on what the issue of the day is, right? So if the British people do anything embarrassing, I can go, fucking hell, those limey fucks. And as soon as the Americans, you see someone getting winched out the house by the fire department, then I'm like, fucking Americans, you get to play both sides of the fence when you're a dual citizen. It's brilliant. Right, the lighting's terrible as well, isn't it? Morning, Ted. How you doing? I guess you're up early. Anglo-Saxon. Hello there. Right, I hope this doesn't look terrible. With the lights on behind me, you can't see anything. So I'm just having to do it by the light of my inexpensive web camera. But it's late on a Sunday and I've got nothing better to do, so I thought I'd talk through some US news. I've been watching a lot of Salty Cracker lately, and I think US news has its own interesting nuances that I'd like to talk about. So I'm going to try and start doing a bit more American news. Maybe the happy medium where I'm sort of covering them both on my streams isn't the best idea. I'm thinking maybe try and angle the ones at 7 p.m. UK more towards the BBC and the Brits, and maybe try to do an evening one aimed at the Americans, because frankly, oh Christ, you're up early then, eh? Ted, what is it, 4 o'clock in the morning? 4 o'clock in the morning, harsh. And you have to go to London, which quite frankly, there's few places I'd rather go to. CNN spews. Yeah, I'm thinking something along those lines. Maybe we can come up with a more pithy title. The Washington Post. Isn't it funny that their tagline is "Democracy dies in darkness," when the Washington Post does naught but lie? And embarrassingly, it shows how quickly things have gone off the rails, because I first moved to the United States, 8 years ago? And the Washington Post was the first paper that I subscribed to. How things have changed in 8 years, eh? In 8 years. Vivian, how you doing, Richard? How things have changed in 8 years, eh? 8 years ago, I was a big fan of Obama. And when I first moved to the US, I subscribed to the Washington Post. Thought it was a good paper. 8 years. How much things can change in 8 years, eh? Just goes to show you though, the bootneck's not an ideal one, because a mere 8 years ago I considered myself a dyed-in-the-wool lefty Democrat, staunch centre-left type of guy. I think of myself as like a necromancer, like the necromancers in Dungeons and Dragons. They've got to side with whoever's currently the powerful one to try and keep the universe in balance. I think that's sort of like how I am, because I think inherently I sort of lean left. But the way the world's gone in the last 8 years, you have to be a conservative, is the way I see it, because the left have completely lost their minds. Put your off Maltesers for he wasn't that bad though. I keep saying that to Republicans. He wasn't a communist, was he? I mean, the things Obama said nowadays, I swear down, nowadays, if Obama was in charge, the woke people would be calling Obama a fucking fascist. It's mad times we're living in. Not for long with so many Hong Kongers moving here. What's that in? Is that the UK, United States you're on about? I'm assuming the UK, right? We're the ones who put the feelers out and said that we'd take them all in. I can't believe how many people we're going to take in the UK. You wouldn't think we live on a tiny, shitty little island, would you? The amount of The amount of visas they seem to be dishing out lately, and they're doing nothing about the dinghies. Ultimately, we've got a finite amount of space, and I think it's ridiculous. Bush was a good laugh, yeah. Again, the world was saner there. Obama wasn't a fucking lunatic, and Bush wasn't compared to some of the people now. Cruz has been a letdown as well. If anyone hasn't been following that, Ted Cruz. I've never liked Ted Cruz. I've always thought he was a political animal. The second he had like proper set twos with Trump, where Trump was like, I mean, it was embarrassing. Trump tortured him, and then Cruz was on TV going, "How dare you talk about my wife that way, Donald? You're a sniveling coward." And then as soon as Trump won and became like wildly popular, Cruz was like his best mate. You couldn't make it up. So that's why I'm a fan of Trump. I think Cruz is a swamp creature, same as what's his name, Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, swamp creature. And Mitch McConnell, absolute swamp creature, no neck, turtle faced old twat that he is. What is it, 7 or 8 where you are? Yes, it's that. It's 8:10 in California. So yeah, I thought I'd talk about some US news for a bit because I've got nothing better to do. So let's do some, shall we? This opinion piece is by Mike Pence, right? And I thought a good way to approach this, because loads of people, if you sit and talk to the average American, and certainly the average Brit, European, and you actually talk to them about filibusters, they don't understand it. So this was a good piece that I found in the Washington Post, because obviously it's a left-wing source. And it's written by the vice president, so it's a good, reliable source of information. And it carefully explains what the crack is, because my opinion of this is very simple. The left, just like how the SNP want to change the rules whenever they can't win the elections. All right, Phil, how you doing? From Melbourne. I knew the Aussies would be up about this time. Just like the lefties in the United Kingdom and in Europe, as soon as they find that they can't win an election, they just want to change all the rules. The same thing's happening over here. And the point I want to make with regards to this filibuster before I read you the piece is that it's the most naive thing in the world to change the rules on a whim just because you can't win. Because when you aren't in power, and inevitably you won't be in power forever, if you change all the rules and throw out all the checks and balances that we established, as soon as you're not in power, they're going to use it against you. And if I could make one point to the lefties, it would be that. It's like, listen, changing the rules on a whim is a terrible idea, because if you get rid of checks and balances just because you hate the guys in power, or you can't pass the legislation you really want to pass, you're going to be on the receiving end of it soon enough. Will Russia invade Ukraine? Possibly. The thing with that is, as far as I can see, we've been taking the piss out of Russia for ages. Like, I think we are the bad guys when it comes to Russia. I know that sounds a bit self-loathing, but if you look at what's gone on in Europe in the last 30 years, the ground that the Russians have ceded to the European Union is quite staggering. If you just go back and look historically at the borders of Russia, we've economically crippled them, and we won the Cold War, and then the European Union took the piss out of them for 30 years. So I sort of think it's a bit funny that we slag off the Russians all the time, considering how much we've had a pop at the Ruskies. They're surprisingly calm and relaxed about things, and we are shrill and shrieking and fucking embarrassing. Like, it's sort of making me pro-Russia. Like, I can't. We are shrill and shrieking all the time, and the Russians, by comparison, are quite calm and relaxed about everything. So I don't think we need to be worrying too much about the Russians. My point's always been, they're an old boogeyman, and we won the Cold War. The military is non-existent. The GDP's minuscule. It's fucking ridiculous. We need to be worrying about the Chinese, not the Russians. Our obsession with Russia is, I think it's baffling. Like I said, the Russians' GDP is the same as like Italy. The carrier's fucking 40 years old, needs to be followed around by a diesel fucking, by a tanker full of diesel. What are we paranoid about the Russians for? China might move on Taiwan when Russia invades Ukraine. Yeah, well, as long as Biden's in charge, it'll be funny, won't it? Because they all talked about World War III when Trump was in charge. When it comes to foreign policy, Trump was a fucking paragon. I can't believe how good he was. You have to concede, even if you're a lefty, that Trump surprised everybody with his nuance and his subtlety on foreign policy. They were like, oh my God, it's going to cause World War III, fucking hell, carpet bombing China, whatever. He didn't do anything. He didn't really put a foot wrong. He managed to get the Chinese in tow, which is possibly why they leaked the fucking virus. He did a great job with Kim Jong, fucking little rocket man. He said, listen, fatty, you've got a fucking button. My button's bigger and it works. What do you think of that? Again, an attitude that our people have never fucking, our weak-willed European leaders have never managed to master, which is you don't bend over backwards for a bully. Bullies only respect strength. And whenever they're trying to wave the fucking cocks in front of Trump, he just said, go on then, fatty, see how you get on. Press your fucking button, dickhead. That's how you approach strong men. They only appreciate strength. Yeah, there is some miserable bastards in Russia. I think that's why I've got a soft spot for them. Anyway, I'll read you this before I fuck off because I want to talk about this. Filibuster. I'm sure there's a lot of people reading this who have no fucking idea. So, basically, Pence says, anniversary of January 6th, come and gone. We lived through the tragic day. He does pour it on too thick. It was a fucking riot. There's an angry mob ransacked the Capitol. Ransacked, really? Largely to try and get Congress and me to use federal authority to overturn the results of the election. Lives were lost and many were injured, but thanks to the selfless and courageous work of law enforcement, shooting an unarmed woman in the face. Yeah, that was mega. Oh, you got to be a brave man. A big black man shooting an unarmed woman in the face. Aye, brave. Takes balls of steel to stand up to an unarmed fucking midget, doesn't it? Congress was able to reconvene the very same day and complete its work. Yeah, so the very same day. So again, did the ransack it really? It was a fucking riot. Boring. Insurrection. Nobody had a gun. It was the worst. It wasn't. Well, we've talked about it, it wasn't. Anyway, it says in the year since that day, states across the country have enacted measures to try and restore confidence in the integrity of our elections, whilst ensuring access to voting for every American. Georgia, Arizona, and Texas have led the way with common sense reforms, such as requiring verifiable identification, perfectly reasonable, and using cameras to record ballot processing, totally fucking sound. Who thinks that's a bad idea? Despite the steady progress of state-based reforms, now come President Biden and Senate Democrats with plans to use the memory of January 6th to drive a wedge further in our divided nation. The plans to end the filibuster will allow Democrats to pass a bill nationalising our elections, and it would offend the founders' intention that states conduct elections just as much as what some of our most ardent supporters would have had me do a year ago. This is the key part. Under the Constitution, elections are largely determined at the state level, not by Congress. The only role of Congress with respect to Electoral College is to be open, present, and record votes submitted and certified by the states. No more, no less. The notion that Congress would break the filibuster rule to pass a law equaling a wholesale takeover of elections by the federal government is inconsistent with our nation's history. Basically, they want to cheat. The laws that were passed in the small states make sense. Yes, you have to have ID. Fucking, how hard's that to understand? Yes, we're going to video it so we know that you're not fucking cheating, you sneaky, slimy bastards. Nobody has any argument with that. They don't like the way states have governed over the past year. Biden and the Democrats' plans advancing in Congress would massively increase opportunities for election fraud. There we fucking have it. Increase opportunities for election fraud. They want to cheat. They want to cheat. We think they cheated last time. This is driving the point home. They want to cheat. They say, we make it so you have to bring your ID, and they go, yeah, that's a bad idea. Who thinks that's a bad idea other than somebody who wants to cheat? It says the plan would mandate the most questionable and abuse-prone election rules nationwide, whilst banning common sense measures to detect, deter, and prosecute election fraud. For example, states would be forced to adopt universal mail-in ballots. Universal mail-in ballots. It's too easy to cheat. They also allow, and this is a fucking big deal, legal ballot harvesting, which I've talked about in several videos. Ballot harvesting is mental. Ballot harvesting, whereby paid political operatives collect absentee ballots from nursing homes. Seriously, ballot harvesting is the maddest thing you'll ever hear about. Ballot harvesting is, they make it legal. This is why Newsom won. And I told you guys before the election, Newsom was going to win. Because they allow cheating in California. Ballot harvesting is loony land. There's nobody in the UK or Australia or Europe would or anywhere else would think ballot harvesting is a good idea. It is shocking. For those of you that don't know what it is, basically, they make it legal where one person who can be a political activist or a union rep can just go around houses saying to people, oh, you're going to vote? And they go, no, I can't be asked. And you go, oh, well, I'll vote for you. I'll give you a gift card. And they go, oh, go on then. Loads of people who couldn't be asked to vote, just give them, and then it's legal for them to turn up at the polling station with a fucking bin liner full of votes and go, there you go, lads. It's legal in California. That's why Newsom was always going to win. It's lunacy. I couldn't even vote for my dad in England. About 8 or 9 years ago, last time I was home and voted in an election, I went to vote for my dad. I took mine, and I think it's when I voted for Cameron. So it's probably about like 2013 or something. And I took my dad's because he can never be asked. He filled it out and I took it for him. I said, just fucking fill the cunt out and I'll put it in for you. And I walked into the polling centre and they wouldn't let me. They were like, yeah, you're not allowed. We don't do that. You have to physically come. And I was like, fair enough, because I suppose you could cheat. Yes, Chris Collin, that's messed up. That's what you're allowed to do in California. Ballot harvesting. You can just rock up. There's no limit on how many you can take in. So in hindsight, I shouldn't have been allowed to vote for my dad because I could have just snatched my dad's election thing, or, he's an old man, he couldn't be asked, and just fill it out however I wanted. So in the UK, we know, no, one person, one vote. If you can't be asked to walk into the fucking station, you're not having a vote. California, you can just rock up with the bin liner. There you go. And in all them fucking swing states, where Biden won by a couple of fucking tens of thousands of votes, there was people tipping up with bin liners. And 99% of the votes are now for Biden. There you go, there's 2 fucking bin liners. This is why everyone's convinced they cheated. And this is the point I've made. It looks like they did cheat. It looks like they did cheat. And the fuckers that say they didn't are the ones who are resisting auditing the ballots. It seriously does look like they cheated. Online voting could be an idea, but again, it's obviously open to massive issues. If you can just log in and with your dad's account, there'll be tens of millions of like senile old cunts who don't vote. And the woke grandkids or the woke kids will just fucking steal their votes off them. It should be get yourself to the polling station in person and vote. And the only person that has a problem with this is somebody who wants to cheat. Can you think of a common sense protest you'd have to require an ID to vote if you didn't want to cheat? Nobody in the Republican side of things doesn't care about it. So yeah, you should have to bring a fucking ID in. And if you're too thick to get an ID, you shouldn't be voting anyway because you've got the IQ of a fucking pork pie. They want to cheat. It is legal cheating. Politics is obsolete. Yeah, well, maybe it is. It seems like no matter what we vote for, we don't get what we were promised. So there's fucking no point to it, is there? But anyway, so there you go. That's the filibuster. They just want to they want to cheat. And there's something else I want to talk about because it made me laugh before I fuck off. This will make you laugh. Right? I swear down. Something Salty Cracker talked about and made me laugh. FBI identifies the British man. This, right, was naked Islamic terrorism. But nobody wants to use the I word. Nobody. Read this story. It's fucking... They write it as if the problem is British men. Like the fucking FBI's going, fucking British men. Those damn British men. We haven't got a problem with fucking British men, have we? Have we got an endemic problem with British men? Like it's 1770 fucking 5. Those limey fucks. The FBI's identified the British man. Oh, fucking hell, the British man. Oh, no, those pesky Brits, they're at it again. Wait till I read you his fucking name. He sounds about as British as a Samoan surfer. He's about as British as a fucking lamboner. A law enforcement vehicle sits in front of the congregation at the Israel synagogue, blah, blah, blah. No mention of the beliefs of the fucking gunman. The man who took hostages at a Texas synagogue died after a standoff with police was a 44-year-old British citizen, Mark Frank Adams. Yeah, I don't want to say his name because they'll go, fucking hell, you said a name, you couldn't. That's hate speech, that. So Mark Frank Adams it was, yeah, definitely. It was those fucking Brits. You can't trust them. Can't trust them. There was no indication that other individuals were involved. 10-hour standoff, and why did he do it? And tell us that. We're what, fucking 3 paragraphs in, still haven't told us why. Why did the British man do it? Why did the British man attack the synagogue? Mr. Adams died on the scene. The FBI didn't say how. Oh no, in the United Kingdom. Oh, fucking those limey fucks. Solidarity with the US. Oh my God, hostage. British fucking Brits. With my thoughts of the Jewish community. Oh, they'll talk about the Jews. Act of terrorism and who did it? Why did he do it? Why did he do it? We stand with the US. Yes, but why did he do it? Peace in the UK, 2008, counter-terrorism in Manchester. But why? What's the belief system? Oh, Blackburn, Lancashire, Blackburn. There's a lot of those funny buildings with the sort of like churches, but with golden bell ends on top. Remember what's the name of them? I think it begins with a M. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? No mention of any religious beliefs, is there? North of Manchester, UK police said they were assisting Joe Biden, blah, blah. Oh, anti-Semitism. Yeah, fucking those nasty anti-Semites from Britain. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, he wanted to release Aifa Siddiqui, a Pakistani neuroscientist. Oh, right. What was his personal beliefs? What was Aifa Siddiqui's personal beliefs? Anyone know? He's probably just agnostic. Probably agnostic. Must be. Or else I would have mentioned it, wouldn't I? Why is he serving an 86-year sentence? No one want to know? Nah. Parking tickets. He got a year for every parking ticket he had. Yeah, he had 86 parking tickets. Anna said she turned on a live stream and heard a dirty Englishman. The English. Just like every other blah. It was terrifying. English, limey fuck, blah, blah, relationship, blah, blah, government, synagogues. No other types of religious building. No. Rabbi, grateful, nice one. Oh, there you go. Done. Fucking hell, you couldn't make it up, could you? You couldn't fucking make it up. Not one single mention of the I word, the M word, the ideology of the fucking gunman. Nothing. Probably an agnostic. Yeah, he's a British neuroscientist. How funny is that? How fucking funny is that? There's a worldwide fucking holy war, right? And we can't even bring ourselves to say, moo. I can't moo. Oh, sorry, YouTube. I was just going to moo there. We can't bring ourselves to say it. We know why he did it. We know why he did it in a synagogue. We know the ideology of the gunman. We know the ideology of the gunman is chum that he wanted releasing from federal prison. We know he probably screamed something about Alan and his fucking famous snack bar. We know all of this, but we're not allowed to say it. As I said, if you won't say anything about them torturing, raping, and fucking well, murdering in some cases, children, you will allow them to say and do anything. A religion of, the religion of many, many pieces. The religion of pieces, because you fucking have a rough encounter with one of them who's having a shit day, and there's a piece of you over there, and a piece of you over there, and a fucking piece of you over there. The religion of fucking pieces. Nice one. Right. That was a quick half hour. I'm just going to call it there because I told my missus that to go and watch Afterlife in bed with her at 8:30. The bootneck's an early night type of fella. Right, I got 50 people in there. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to start doing US news on an evening, trying to get more Americans in, because I like Steven Crowder and I like Salty Cracker. But frankly, I'm astounded that Steven Crowder's got like fucking 4 million subs, and I think he's pretty funny. But personally, I think I'm better than him. So I don't understand. I think there's a big market there that needs to be tapped. And the bootneck wants to steal some of his audience. So I'm going to start doing US news on an evening, and I'll predominantly cover the British news on the morning, if I can be asked. I'm a bit flaky. I might give up after doing this for a couple of days because it'll do me head in. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm quite pleased I got 50 people in for a trial run. So I'm going to try a couple of nights a week to do some United States news, and gives me a chance to talk to the Aussies as well. Hello, Catherine. You can see Catherine's Australia. Look at that. She looks all healthy and she's got nice shiny teeth. If she was an English Catherine, she'd have teeth like a fucking witch doctor's necklace. They'd look like a burnt fence, them things in her mouth there. I need to wear a 44 mag boot. Right. Anyway, ladies and gents, thanks for turning in. I'm going to start doing more of these on an evening, and we'll see if we can build an audience up a bit. Like it and share it and all that bollocks, please, if you can be asked. And I'll probably see all of you that are fucking up far too early at 7 p.m. UK tomorrow. All right? Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do this again soon. See you later.